Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night, clutching your leg in pain, wondering why your calf seems to have turned into a knot of stone? For many seniors, that scene is all too familiar. Nighttime leg cramps feel like they strike out of nowhere, robbing you of sleep and leaving you sore and tired the next day. And it's not just about discomfort. When cramps become frequent, they start to change the way you move, the way you walk, even the way you look at everyday tasks. Here's the surprising truth: cramps are not random. They're not just something you have to accept because you're getting older. They're your body's way of sending you a message, like a warning light on the dashboard of a car. The muscles are crying out that they're running low on fuel, that the wiring is misfiring, or that circulation is faltering. And the best part, you can often fix the problem not with expensive pills or complicated treatments, but with simple foods. Foods you already know, foods that sit quietly on the shelves of your kitchen or the produce aisle at your local grocery store. Today we're going to explore 3 of those foods. They're not exotic, they're not trendy health fads. They're the kind of foods your grandparents probably ate without thinking about nutrition labels or supplements. But modern science has shown that they pack exactly the right mix of nutrients to calm spasms, protect nerves, and keep muscles working the way they should. This isn't going to be just a list. I'll show you why each food works, how it fits into your daily routine, and stories of real people who have used them to turn their nights from restless to restful. And because I know how overwhelming health advice can get, I'll also give you a simple daily action plan at the end. 3 easy steps you can start tomorrow that add up to a strong defense against cramps. So if you're tired of those surprise midnight jolts of pain and you're ready to discover simple, natural ways to fight back, stay with me. You may be just 1 meal away from sleeping through the night in peace. And the first food we'll talk about might surprise you. It's something almost everyone has in their fridge, but very few people realize just how powerful it can be. The humble egg. Eggs are one of those foods that everyone takes for granted. They're always in the fridge, always available, and always cheap. But inside that simple shell lies a nutritional powerhouse, especially for seniors struggling with leg cramps. To understand why, let's strip things down to science first. Every cramp is essentially a muscle contraction gone wrong. Muscles contract when nerve signals send calcium rushing into the cells, and they relax when magnesium helps push that calcium back out. When the balance of nutrients is off, contractions can last longer than they should, and that's when you feel the sharp, stabbing pain of a cramp. Eggs don't provide every mineral involved, but they give your body the foundation it desperately needs. High-quality protein, vitamin D for calcium absorption, and B12 and choline to keep the nerves firing smoothly. Protein is the #1 reason eggs belong in an anti-cramp diet. Each egg contains about 6 grams of complete protein. Complete meaning all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. That detail matters. In younger years, missing 1 or 2 amino acids might not show up as a problem. But in older age, when muscles are already shrinking from sarcopenia, every missing piece makes recovery harder. Protein is what repairs the micro tears that happen every time you walk, climb stairs, or simply stand up from a chair. Without enough of it, muscles weaken, fatigue sets in faster, and cramps become more frequent. Vitamin D is the second secret weapon. Most seniors don't get enough of it because their skin produces less with age and they spend less time outdoors. Vitamin D is like the key that unlocks calcium, letting the body actually use it for muscle contraction. Without it, calcium passes through without being fully absorbed. This deficiency shows up as weakness, soreness, and yes, cramps. Egg yolks supply a modest but important dose of vitamin D. 1 egg won't meet your entire daily requirement, but when paired with other foods or a supplement, it helps close the gap. Then there's B12 and choline, both of which are critical for nerve health. B12 keeps the myelin sheath around nerves intact, ensuring smooth signal transmission. Choline helps produce acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that tells muscles when to contract and when to relax. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to B12 deficiency because stomach acid declines with age, and common medications like metformin or proton pump inhibitors interfere with absorption. Low B12 is a hidden culprit behind cramps, tingling, and numbness. Eggs, being rich in both B12 and choline, serve as a straightforward way to keep nerves reliable. Now, science alone doesn't always convince people. Stories do. I once met Linda, a retired teacher who loved gardening. At 68, she found herself waking almost every night with cramps that left her hobbling the next morning. She assumed it was just age. When she saw a nutritionist, he asked her to track her protein intake. She was shocked to realize she was getting barely 40 grams a day, well below the recommended 70 to 80 grams for her weight and age. The fix: start with 2 boiled eggs every morning. Within a month, Linda told me her cramps had almost vanished. She still had the occasional spasm, but instead of every night, it was once or twice a month. More importantly, she said she felt steady on her feet again in the garden. There's also George, a 70-year-old who spent plenty of time outdoors as a gardener, but still had low vitamin D levels. That surprised him until he learned that aging skin doesn't produce vitamin D as effectively. His doctor suggested eggs as part of his daily meals, along with a supplement. Between the added vitamin D and the protein, George said his nightly calf cramps dropped dramatically. He joked that eggs had become part of his toolbox for gardening, not just for breakfast. Of course, the elephant in the room is cholesterol. For decades, eggs were demonized because of their cholesterol content, and many seniors still avoid them out of habit. But modern research has overturned that old belief. For healthy adults, eating up to 7 eggs per week has little to no impact on blood cholesterol levels. In fact, eggs are safer than processed meats like sausage or bacon, which are often paired with them. For seniors with existing heart conditions or very high cholesterol, moderation and medical advice are wise. But for most people, eggs are not the villain they were once made out to be. So how do you make eggs a practical part of your routine? Start simple. Scramble them with spinach and onions for breakfast. Keep hard-boiled eggs in the fridge for a quick snack. Try a vegetable omelette with mushrooms and peppers for lunch. For dinner, place a poached egg on top of a bowl of quinoa or roasted vegetables. The combinations are endless, and eggs blend easily into both Western and Asian-style meals. One overlooked tip: consider eating eggs in the evening. Because the protein supports overnight muscle repair, this small change can reduce nighttime cramps. Take the story of Maria, 66, who had stopped going to her weekly dance class because her calves cramped mid-routine. She was embarrassed and thought maybe she was too old for it. When she began eating eggs at lunch, usually as part of a salad, her cramps became less frequent and she regained her confidence. Soon she was back in class, moving gracefully and enjoying herself again. Then there's John, 75, with type 2 diabetes. He replaced his sugary cereal with a veggie omelette. Not only did his blood sugar stabilize, but his cramps eased noticeably. The lesson from these stories is clear. Eggs aren't magic, but they're foundational. They supply protein to rebuild, vitamin D to strengthen, and B12 and choline to keep signals firing properly. They're cheap, accessible, and versatile. They're the kind of food that works best when eaten regularly, not occasionally. 6 to 7 eggs a week is safe for most people and provides a steady flow of nutrients that keep cramps from derailing your nights. Think of eggs not as just breakfast, but as daily maintenance. They are the construction crew, repairing the tiny damage of everyday life. They are the electricians, keeping signals clear and steady. and they are the guardians, making sure your body has what it needs to rest and recover. For seniors who feel like cramps are stealing their comfort and independence, eggs offer a simple, practical way to fight back. Let's begin this part with a story, because sometimes a single person's experience says more than all the charts and numbers. Meet Mr. Johnson, a 72-year-old retired mechanic from Texas. He spent his life fixing cars, his hands steady and his mind sharp. But when he retired, a new problem arrived that he had no idea how to fix. His legs. Almost every night, he would wake up with his calves twisted into painful knots. He joked that his legs had a mind of their own, but behind the humor was frustration and exhaustion. His doctor didn't prescribe expensive medicine or complicated therapies. Instead, he suggested something simple. Every afternoon, eat a banana and pair it with a glass of coconut water. Mr. Johnson was skeptical. How could a piece of fruit change something so stubborn? But he tried it. Within a few weeks, his cramps had gone from nightly torment to rare annoyances. He laughed and told me, "Turns out the best repair job I ever did wasn't on a car. It was on myself, with a banana." Why would a banana, something so ordinary, make such a difference? The answer lies in the minerals and vitamins packed into that yellow fruit. The most important of these is potassium. Potassium is one of the key electrolytes, the minerals that carry electrical charges in your body. Muscles and nerves run on these charges the same way a car runs on electricity. Potassium helps transmit signals from your nerves to your muscles, allowing them to contract and then release. When your potassium levels drop too low, a condition called hypokalemia, muscles become overly excitable. That means they contract more easily, more forcefully, and often at the wrong time. The result? Cramps. A medium banana gives you about 420 milligrams of potassium, which is around 10 to 12% of the daily recommended intake. That's not enough to meet your full needs, but it's a strong contribution, especially when you add other potassium-rich foods like spinach, sweet potatoes, or beans. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to low potassium because of reduced appetite, certain medications like diuretics for blood pressure, or dehydration. By simply eating a banana daily, you can help replenish what your body is losing and restore balance. But bananas don't stop at potassium. They also provide magnesium, another essential mineral for muscle health. If potassium is the spark that starts a contraction, magnesium is the brake that lets it end. Without enough magnesium, muscles contract and then refuse to let go. That's why low magnesium often leads to cramps that last longer and feel more severe. While bananas aren't the richest source of magnesium, they still contribute a helpful amount. Combined with nuts, seeds, or leafy greens, they support a smoother cycle of contraction and relaxation. Vitamin B6 in bananas adds a third layer of support. This vitamin helps regulate neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that tell muscles when to move. Low levels of B6 can increase inflammation, slow recovery after activity, and make muscles more prone to spasms. One banana provides nearly 30% of your daily B6 needs, making it a powerful ally for nerve and muscle health. Now, I want to make something clear. Bananas aren't magic. Eating one banana after a cramp won't make it instantly disappear. What bananas do is strengthen your system over time, helping prevent cramps from happening in the first place. Think of it like maintaining a car. You don't wait until the engine fails to add oil. You keep it topped up consistently to prevent breakdowns. Bananas work the same way. One banana a day, eaten consistently, keeps your engine running smoothly. There's also a hydration factor. Cramps often strike at night because the body is slightly dehydrated. Seniors sometimes lose the sensation of thirst and forget to drink enough water. Bananas provide not just potassium and magnesium, but also natural sugars and water, which help maintain hydration. When paired with a glass of water or coconut water, a banana becomes even more effective. That's why Mr. Johnson's doctor paired the two together. It's not just about the fruit, but about replenishing both fluids and electrolytes. So how do you make bananas part of your routine without feeling like you're forcing yourself? The simplest way is to eat one as an afternoon snack. They're portable, require no preparation, and are affordable. You can slice them into oatmeal at breakfast, blend them into smoothies with spinach and almond milk, or mash them onto whole grain toast with a spread of peanut butter. Some seniors find that eating a banana about an hour or two before bed helps reduce nighttime cramps because the body has time to absorb the minerals before sleep. For seniors with diabetes, bananas can still fit into the diet, but with care. Choose bananas that are slightly green, as they have a lower glycemic index, and pair them with protein or fiber to slow sugar absorption. For example, a banana with Greek yogurt or a handful of almonds balances the sweetness. If you have kidney disease, however, you must consult your doctor because excess potassium can be dangerous when the kidneys cannot filter it properly. Helen, a 70-year-old choir singer, learned this firsthand. She loved singing but dreaded long rehearsals because standing for hours often triggered cramps mid-performance. A nutritionist suggested she eat a banana mid-afternoon and hydrate with water before rehearsals. Within a month, she was standing confidently through entire evenings of practice, no longer worried about cramps interrupting her songs. She told me it wasn't just the physical relief, it was the emotional freedom of knowing her body wouldn't betray her at the wrong moment. What bananas teach us is that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful. They're not exotic, they're not expensive, they don't require recipes or complicated preparation. They're just there, ready to be peeled and eaten. And yet, inside that simplicity lies a powerful combination of nutrients that aging bodies crave. Potassium to regulate, magnesium to relax, vitamin B6 to stabilize. If eggs are the builders, patching and strengthening the muscles themselves, bananas are the electricians, keeping the wires clear and the signals steady. Together, they form a powerful duo. But there is still one more piece of the puzzle, one that many seniors overlook: the small but mighty nuts and seeds that provide the breaks your muscles desperately need. If you want a practical step you can take today without cooking, chopping, or even turning on the stove, here it is. Take a small handful of nuts or seeds and make it part of your daily routine. It could be a few almonds with your morning coffee, a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds on your salad, or a spoonful of chia seeds stirred into your yogurt. That handful, though small, can change the way your muscles behave at night. The beauty of nuts and seeds is that they're effortless. Unlike eggs, which you usually cook, or bananas, which you have to time around ripeness, nuts and seeds are always ready. Keep a jar of them on the counter or in your bag, and you have a built-in muscle protector with you at all times. And the effect is more powerful than most people expect. Many seniors who adopt this habit notice fewer nighttime cramps within weeks. So why does something so small make such a big difference? The answer lies in magnesium, the unsung hero of muscle health. Think back to how muscles work. Calcium flows in to trigger contraction, and magnesium pushes calcium back out to allow relaxation. If you're low on magnesium, the muscles contract but don't release easily, like a clenched fist that won't open. That's exactly what a cramp feels like. Nuts and seeds happen to be some of the richest natural sources of magnesium. Pumpkin seeds are superstars, delivering almost half of your daily magnesium needs in just 1 ounce. Almonds, cashews, sunflower seeds, and chia seeds also provide significant amounts. But magnesium isn't the whole story. Nuts and seeds also contain potassium, which works alongside bananas to keep electrical signals steady. Pistachios, for instance, are particularly rich in potassium, with nearly 300 milligrams per ounce. Almonds give around 200 milligrams. That means with just a small serving, you're reinforcing the body's ability to send smooth signals between nerves and muscles, cutting down the risk of misfires that trigger cramps. On top of that, nuts and seeds are packed with healthy fats, especially omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts and flax seeds. These fats reduce inflammation, which is often an invisible driver of cramps. Seniors who also suffer from arthritis or chronic muscle pain benefit doubly from these anti-inflammatory effects. Healthy fats also improve circulation, ensuring oxygen and nutrients actually reach the muscles and helping waste products like lactic acid flush out before they can cause problems. Better circulation means calmer muscles and fewer cramps. Protein is another contribution. While nuts and seeds don't rival eggs in protein quality, they still provide important amounts that support repair. For seniors who eat less meat, these plant-based proteins fill gaps in the diet. Combined with their minerals and fats, nuts and seeds act like a complete maintenance kit in one small package. Carol, a 70-year-old who loved baking, told me she used to reach for cookies every afternoon. She also battled cramps at night and stiffness in her hands from arthritis. At her daughter's urging, she swapped the cookies for a handful of almonds and started sprinkling chia seeds on her breakfast yogurt. After a month, she was stunned by the difference. Her cramps were far less frequent, and her morning stiffness eased noticeably. She described it as though her body had been lubricated from the inside. It wasn't medicine. It wasn't drastic. It was simply nuts and seeds doing their quiet work. Another senior, Peter, 74, had cramps so bad he often found himself pacing the house at 2 in the morning. His doctor suggested magnesium, but didn't want him to rely solely on supplements. Peter began eating pumpkin seeds every evening after dinner, just a small handful. Within 3 weeks, his cramps went from nearly every night to once a week. He told me it felt like someone had flipped a switch in his body. Of course, moderation matters. Nuts and seeds are calorie-dense. A handful a day, about an ounce, is usually enough. That's 20 almonds, 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds, or 1 heaping spoon of chia. More isn't always better, and salted or sugar-coated varieties can do more harm than good by adding sodium or processed sugars. Stick to unsalted, raw, or dry-roasted versions. If chewing is difficult, nut butters like almond or sunflower seed butter offer the same benefits in a softer form. For those with allergies, seeds alone can provide most of the benefits without the risks. The best part of nuts and seeds is how adaptable they are. They can be savory or sweet, a snack or part of a meal. Sprinkle pumpkin seeds over soup, toss walnuts into oatmeal, stir chia seeds into smoothies, or simply eat a handful of pistachios while watching TV. Unlike some health foods that feel like a chore, nuts and seeds feel like a treat. That makes them sustainable, and sustainability is what turns small changes into long-term results. What makes nuts and seeds especially powerful is how they complete the trio. Eggs rebuild muscle with protein and protect nerves with vitamins. Bananas regulate electricity with potassium and calm signals with B6. Nuts and seeds add the brakes through magnesium, reduce inflammation with omega-3s, and keep blood flowing with healthy fats. Each food tackles a different angle, and when you combine them, you create a balanced, multi-layered defense against cramps. Think of it this way. Eggs are the builders, bananas are the electricians, and nuts and seeds are the engineers who fine-tune the system and keep everything in balance. None of them work alone as well as they do together. And the beauty is they're all easy to find, affordable and simple to use. You don't need exotic powders or complicated supplements. You just need a carton of eggs, a bunch of bananas, and a jar of seeds on the counter. For seniors who feel like cramps have stolen their sleep and limited their lives, Nuts and seeds represent one of the easiest yet most powerful steps toward relief. They don't just calm the muscles, they bring back confidence, energy, and freedom. And when combined with eggs and bananas, they transform the nightly battle against cramps into a manageable, winnable fight. When you put the pieces together, leg cramps stop feeling like a mystery. They are painful, yes, but they are not random. They are signals from your body, little alarms telling you that something is out of balance, whether it's weak muscles, misfiring nerves, or a shortage of minerals that keep contractions smooth. The beautiful truth is that you don't have to accept those alarms as the new normal. You can calm them, and often you can do it with simple foods you've known your entire life. Eggs give your muscles the protein they need to rebuild and the vitamins that help your nerves stay sharp. Bananas provide the potassium and magnesium that steady the electrical current running through your body, keeping contractions smooth and balanced. Nuts and seeds deliver magnesium, potassium, healthy fats, and antioxidants that not only relax muscles but also reduce inflammation and improve circulation. Each of them brings something different to the table, and together they form a trio that covers every angle of the problem. But here's the most important part. Knowledge alone won't change anything. You can watch this video, nod your head and say, "That makes sense." But if you don't act on it, the cramps will still come tonight, and tomorrow, and the next day. The key is consistency. These foods don't work like a switch you flip once. They work like bricks in a wall, stacked one on top of another until they form protection that holds firm. Imagine two different seniors. One shrugs and says, "Cramps are just part of aging and changes nothing. Nights remain restless, mornings are stiff, and mobility fades." The other says, "I'm going to try," and starts with tiny steps, adding eggs to breakfast a few days a week, swapping a cookie for a banana in the afternoon, sprinkling pumpkin seeds on a salad at dinner. At first, the difference is small, but weeks later, sleep comes easier. Months later, walking feels lighter, and the cramps that once dominated life are now rare. That second senior didn't perform miracles, they just built habits. And that's the real secret here. Transformation is born from small, repeatable choices. Of course, food is only part of the picture. Drink enough water, because dehydration can undo even the best diet. Stretch your calves before bed, because muscles that are lengthened are less likely to spasm. Keep moving during the day, because circulation is what delivers nutrients and flushes out waste. Pair those habits with the right foods, and you'll have a system that attacks cramps from every angle. Now, because I know too much information can feel overwhelming, let me make this very simple. Here's a one-day action plan you can start tomorrow. It's not complicated, it doesn't require exotic ingredients, and it fits easily into a normal routine. Breakfast, 2 boiled eggs, or an omelette with vegetables. This gives you protein, vitamin D, and B12 to fuel your muscles and nerves. Afternoon snack. 1 banana with a glass of water. If you want extra balance, pair it with a spoonful of almond butter. This tops up potassium and magnesium and keeps you hydrated. Dinner, a salad or warm dish with a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds or a handful of almonds. This delivers magnesium, healthy fats, and extra potassium to keep your muscles calm through the night. That's it. 3 steps, 3 foods, 1 simple daily plan. If you repeat this pattern consistently, you're building a shield around your muscles and giving your body the tools it needs to fight cramps naturally. So the choice is in your hands. You can accept cramps as a frustrating part of aging, or you can take simple action to push back. You don't need to overhaul your life or spend money on miracle cures. You just need to remember 3 foods: eggs, bananas, nuts and seeds, and make them part of your daily rhythm. Your body will thank you with calmer nights, stronger mornings, and a freedom of movement that many people think is gone forever. And the best time to start isn't next week or next month. It's tomorrow morning, with the first bite of a simple breakfast that can change the way you feel.